Welcome to From Temp to Hire, Staffing Success Stories, the show where work-life harmony meets job satisfaction. Listen to how these professionals have advanced their careers, increased their salaries, and got their foot in the door with top-notch tech and healthcare companies across the country. Learn how you can land that high-paying remote job, negotiate that pay raise, or get more work flexibility so you can start living now. Beyond recruitment, we're a staffing agency dedicated to guiding career-minded professionals to a better work-life harmony, better mental health, and more career satisfaction. Enjoy the show. Joining us today is Tiffany Bomar. She earned her associate's in applied sciences and her degree in search tech from Niagara County Community College. Passionate about working with folks to improve their nutrition, physical health, and overall lifestyle, Tiffany has been a part of the conversation of health for over a decade. Thank you for joining us, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me, ladies. Glad to be a part of this.
Awesome. So first, I wanted to just give the audience an idea of what it is that you currently do at Delta Dental.
I wear several different hats. I check claims, benefit information. I assist with all the way down to finding a provider for people. For some of our what we call senior angels, they deserve a little more TLC when it comes to talking to them. They're not as tech savvy or even are familiar with how to work computers, most of them. So I take extra time in trying to help them, like I said, even if it's just finding a provider within their zip code. I genuinely do love to help people, and I think it shows in my background, which has always been healthcare since I started really working. I put myself through college working as a CNA at one facility and a home health aide at a different one. And yeah, that's been, my journey thus far.
That's amazing. I guess my question to you would be, how did you happen upon the healthcare industry? Was there something as you were growing up that you found interesting? How did you discover your passion?
I remember being little, and honestly, my cousin would give me a quarter to give her a massage, and it's just, I was always a helpful person, even when I was younger. I will go to the store for all the older ladies in my neighborhood. I don't know if you're familiar, but with a note so I can get their cigarettes, and it just started from there.
Yeah.
I've always been a servant to others, and I know that sounds kind of cliche, but my track record speaks for it. To hear people tell me at the end of their conversation, I'm so happy you took the time. No one else does that for me, or I've gone above and beyond. And I've always made it my motto. I will do what I can so no one ever felt the way I did. I felt abandoned, unseen. And it was hard. So I never want anybody else to feel that way.
How do you think it is beneficial to try things out before you identify where you need to stick and work really hard?
Well, for starters, just for me, these jobs, most of them, as a matter of fact, the vast majority of them were all when I was younger, before I really picked a career path. And it gave me the option to figure out what I liked and what I didn't like. It all involved customer service in one way or another. And again, I use the term being a servant to others, not like I'm a slave or anything, but just I genuinely have always assisted wherever I could.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my hands, into everything. Like I said, amusement park. I delivered newspapers. I was a babysitter before I was able to, physically go out and get a job.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I guess for the experience of it all. So I worked at a high-end department store in Brooklyn. It was called Loman's. It's like Marshall's, but for the really bougie.
Okay.
So I worked there, and the store manager, her name was Ann. I'll never forget Ann. Ann was amazing. It would be the end of the night. Off the rack stores, you got to clean up at the end of the night. So it would be all these women rushing around, trying on stuff, and we would have to clean up. And there was a shift manager, and Ann taught me you can tell a lot from a person by how they treat their team and about the strength of the handshake. And the shift manager, when I met her, her name was Beverly. I remember her name as well. It was this really limp, I didn't want to touch your handshake. And when it was time to clean up at the end of the night, Beverly, she's out the door immediately. And the store manager would be on the floor with us cleaning up. This woman went to bat for me. My father passed away while I was working there. And she was like, you will always be on the schedule until you come back and either say you want, permanently back in, or if you decide this isn't a fit for you. She just went above and beyond. She saw us as people. She didn't see herself as someone higher than us. Whereas a shift manager who was basically doing what I did as a customer service rep with a set of keys, she looked down on us. And I learned that from her. A good leader works with their team. And it was a respectable trait I picked up. And, no matter what I've done, I keep that in mind.
What was your interaction? What was your experience with WM's training? And how did you feel it was different, if at all, from your experience with the other company?
I felt, honestly, Jelisa, I adore her. She calls, and when she says she cares, she has your back, her and Urena. It was the calling. Like, our first training was supposed to be in January, and it was just like, I turned down a few other jobs for that. And I was a little, disappointed. And she's like, we're going to get you in. We're going to get, if it has to be another company or whatever. And so I was just like, well, maybe it was just me. They're telling me this because they didn't want me. I don't know. But that wasn't the case. Kept in contact. Hey, we're still working to put together another class, and in March that actually, came through. It was just a constant contact, keeping in touch, letting me know, hey, we're still here. We're still working to try and get you a position. I love the contact that they reaching out. It was like, I wasn't talking to a recruiter for a job. It almost became a friendship. I adore Jelisa, and I cannot say that enough. And they showed me that I mattered. And I really appreciate that. And I miss the check-ins, working daily, I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah.
Told them, are you working tardy or whatever? And, I miss the messages. I miss the round tables, Jalisa's tip of the week.
Yes.
I do miss that. And it felt more like a family vibe than just a temp gig.
And I think that's something that's really unique that I think people don't know about, with staffing agencies, is that you don't get that when you just get a job on your own.
You
don't get check-ins, updates, reminders. It's almost like a personal assistant.
I didn't feel like I was disposable or dispensable. Like, I didn't feel like just a name and number. Oh yeah, we're going to contract you out. We're never going to talk to you again. And if you get taken in permanently, you do, or if you don't, that's just what it is. I never felt that. And WM absolutely is amazing. I speak their praises all the time to people. I tell other people, if you're looking for a remote job, this is who you want to go with.
In the midst of all of your professional goals and your personal life, how do you make sure to validate yourself, advocate for yourself, and celebrate your wins? Like, how important is that to you? How do you make sure to fill your cup as you're always being a servant as well, so that you can continuously be there and show up for folks?
Well, I love the segue into that you asked, Liv. Thank you. Honestly, life it's been hard. I could literally write a book, and people have told me that I should. I've had a lot of losses, and in the course of working, while I was still, contracted out with WM, I had several losses in my family. It was 3 back to back. My daughter's friend was hit by a car, and this was the first friend she made when we moved to Atlanta. This is I call them my bus stop babies. I'm the bus stop mom. I'm out there with snacks. I get a hug every time they get off the bus. I'm that person. So to know one of my babies was gone was hard. So that's 4 losses. My aunt through marriage, and I named my daughter after her daughter who passed away because she and I were close, my husband's aunt. So that was crushing. My actual uncle had a very rare form of cancer. And my cousin was one of the victims of the massacre at the grocery store in Buffalo. I was literally sitting on Zoom crying. Jelisa called me and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going to quit. She's like, no, you're not. You're not going to quit. We're going to give you time off to go. And, your bereavement time, you're going to go grieve. We're here for you. You're going to come back when you're ready. Same thing with Delta Dental. One of the women who runs the center at Alpharetta location, she told me the exact same thing. So I was able to take that break to go to the funerals and to just have that time to recover, to recharge from that. And I was sent a sugar wish, and that was super dope. I'd never even heard of that. It was, a card of condolence and 2 cookies of my choosing. And I keep that. I still have the box with my note. I'm a sentimental person. I keep everything. I take nothing for granted. And that experience allowed me to recharge. So the training, which was a bit overwhelming at first, I did start over when I came back from my grieving period. And while in training, I was offered full time, plus given a raise and a upgrade in my position. So
Come on.
it paid off. I stayed the course. Yes, I was almost going to give up, but I'm glad, I had Jelisa and Urena in my ear to tell me, you're not giving up. And as well as my Delta Dental family telling me, no, you're not going to give up. You're going to come back. And it's been amazing. I was able to buy a brand new car. And, the upgraded pay was cute. I'm not going to lie. The benefits are great. But it was people who thought enough of me to give me a chance. And in the course of that, I thanked, her name is Angela Clark Smith. I thanked her. I sent her a message, my little August newsletter post. And I said, you made this possible. That's who recommended me for the position, for the promotion. And the head of Delta Dental Alpharetta, Anita Hill, reached out to me. I heard your story, how you said your daughter was able to be proud of you. I'm really rough on myself a lot. And to have my baby tell me she was proud of me, and she heard my story. Miss Angela shared it with her. She reached out and messaged me as well. We're happy to have you aboard on Delta Dental. If you need anything, you let us know. And I'm like, are you serious? I had to screenshot the message. I sent it to my friends in Zoom. I'm like, she reached out to me directly. Yes, I'd been in office. We did a little field trip where we went in and, we met them. And I guess I made an impression on Miss Angela. And that's who got me, promoted to senior customer advocate. And now I'm just trying to get that longevity in with Delta Dental. It's a lot of people who've been there for 20 years and they started off in the temp role as me, like I did. And it was just like, I see myself. Women who look like me are in a position where, they're progressing. And that's super dope. I want to be a part of that.
And you, and I might have missed it, but I don't know that you mentioned how you found us or how you happened upon us. Were you referred? Indeed. Yeah. And when you reached out to us on Indeed, how was that communication? Was it relatively quick? Did you hear from someone? Yeah.
Immediately. Mm-hmm. It was quick. It didn't feel like a recruiter was contacting me. Again, I love the personal touch that the recruiters use when speaking to people. I love I wasn't nervous, and I do have bad anxiety. And it was just, okay, we're trying to get you this job. And, I've already talked about the process. So again, when they spoke to me, it was comforting and believable. And I just wanted to be a part of the team.
And when you said it didn't feel like a recruiter, what experience have you had? Like when you think of recruiters, you kind of think of, are they kind of like just trying to get it done? What kind of experience have you had with recruiters?
Yeah, it's more of a, okay, we're going to place you into a position. We're getting paid and to contract out and okay, bye, off you go. And I didn't get that vibe at all. And, I'm forever grateful to WM. Like I said, the bar for a temp agency has been very high, and I speak your praises. Anybody looking for a job, get on Indeed, contact them. I talk about, the people who helped me, and I will forever come back and speak to the other temp agents so they don't think it's just them or it's not going to happen. I like to think my story is relatable. Yeah, it's been a lot of hardships, but I didn't break. I didn't give up. So my journey is just about assisting, staying humble, and just learning. That's my walk in life. I've ministered to other moms who've lost their kids. Like I said, I'll come back and talk at the round tables so you don't think it's just you or your story is isolated. I've been through the fire and I come out on the other side unburned.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for joining us today. I
Thank you
thoroughly
for
enjoyed
having
our
me.
conversation. Thank you for telling your story, and I'm excited for how this is going to motivate and inspire and encourage all of the listeners at whatever stage they are in their career journey. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
for having me,
Tiffany.
ladies.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Wilbur Michelson podcast from Temp to Hire Staffing Success Stories. We hope this conversation changed how you see career advancement, job hunting, and staffing agencies. What's one word that stood out to you from today's episode? We're curious for your thoughts. Please leave a review and